Let me ask you something, and I want you to really sit with it for a second. Growing up, did anyone ever ask you how you felt? Not how was school, not did you finish your homework, but genuinely, how are you feeling today, sweetheart? What's going on inside that little head of yours? For some of you, that question feels totally normal. You had that. Maybe your parents weren't perfect, but they saw you, they noticed you, they checked in. But for a lot of people watching this right now, that question feels almost foreign, like it's in a language you were never taught. And if that's you, if you grew up feeling kind of invisible, like your emotions were too much or not important enough or just never really acknowledged, then this video is for you, because what you experienced has a name. It's called emotional neglect, and it shaped you in ways you might not even realize yet. So first, let's clear something up, because when most people hear the word neglect, they think of obvious things: a child not being fed or not being taken care of physically. And yes, that's neglect too. But emotional neglect is sneakier. It's quieter. It doesn't leave visible marks. Emotional neglect is what happens when a child's emotional needs go consistently unmet. When parents, even good, well-meaning parents, are simply not tuned in to the inner world of their child. Here's the important thing to understand. It's often not about what happened to you. It's about what didn't happen. Nobody sat with you when you were sad. Nobody celebrated your small wins. Nobody said, "I notice you seem worried today. Want to talk about it?" Nobody taught you that your feelings were valid and worth expressing. And here's the really tricky part. Because your parents might have been present. They might have provided for you. You might have had a roof over your head, food on the table, and good grades in school. And yet, something was just missing. That's the invisible wound of emotional neglect. It's the absence of something that was supposed to be there. And absences are hard to grieve because you can't always point to them and say, "This is what hurt me." Now here's where it gets really interesting and honestly really important, because the children who grew up emotionally neglected, they didn't disappear. They grew up, they became adults. Maybe they became you, and they carry certain patterns with them. Let me walk you through some of the most common ones. Number one, you struggle to identify your own feelings. This is huge. When someone asks you, "How do you feel about that?" you kind of go blank. You know you feel something, but you can't quite name it. That's because nobody helped you build that emotional vocabulary when you were young. You were never taught to look inward. Number two, you feel like a burden. If you grew up in a household where your emotions weren't welcomed, you learned a very painful lesson. My feelings are too much for people. So now, as an adult, you apologize for needing things. You say, "I'm fine," when you're not. You shrink yourself so other people don't have to deal with you. Number three, you're your own harshest critic. Emotionally neglected kids often grow up with this relentless inner voice that tells them they're not good enough. Why? Because when no one reflects your worth back to you as a child, you fill in the blanks yourself, and kids almost always fill them in with shame. Number four, relationships feel confusing or exhausting. You might deeply crave closeness, but the moment someone gets too close, you panic, or you feel numb, or you can't figure out what you even want from a relationship, because you never really had a model for what emotional intimacy looks like. Number five, you're incredibly self-sufficient, almost too much so. You learned early that no one was coming to help you process your emotions, so you just handled it yourself. You became the strong one, the one who doesn't need anything, and people probably admire that about you, but inside you're exhausted from carrying everything alone. Do any of these sound familiar? Because if they do, that's not a character flaw. That's an adaptation. That's a child doing the best they could in the environment they had. Okay, so now I want to talk about the part that actually gives me hope, because none of this is a life sentence. The brain is plastic. It can learn new things, even in adulthood. And the emotional skills you didn't develop as a child, you can develop them now. It's harder, yes. It takes intention, but it is absolutely possible. So where do you even start? Start by learning to notice your feelings. Not judge them, not fix them, just notice them. Try asking yourself a few times a day, What am I feeling right now? Even if your answer is, I don't know, that's okay. You're building the muscle. Give yourself permission to have needs. This is one of the most radical things an emotionally neglected person can do. You are allowed to need things. You are allowed to say, I'm struggling. You are allowed to ask for help. That is not weakness. That is being human. Find safe people. Whether that's a therapist, a trusted friend, a partner, find someone who can handle your emotions without flinching. And practice being honest with them, a little bit at a time. You don't have to dump everything at once. Just practice showing up as a little more of your real self, more often. And be patient with yourself. Seriously. You spent years, maybe decades, learning to hide, suppress, and minimize what you felt. Unlearning that takes time. You will have days where you feel completely fine and days where it all feels impossible. That's not failure, that's healing. I want to leave you with this. If you grew up as the unseen child, the one who learned to be small, to be quiet, to not take up too much emotional space, I need you to hear something. You were never too much. You were never the problem. You were a child who needed something that, for whatever reason, the adults around you didn't know how to give. That wasn't your fault. And here's the beautiful thing. You are no longer that child. You are an adult now. And for the first time in your life, you get to choose. You can choose to see yourself. You can choose to take your own emotions seriously. You can choose to become, for yourself, the caring presence that you needed back then. That's what healing from emotional neglect really looks like. Not suddenly becoming a different person, but slowly, gently, learning to become your own witness, your own advocate, your own safe place. You were unseen for a long time, but you're not invisible anymore. Thank you for watching, and if this resonated with you, please share it, because I promise you, someone in your life needs to hear this today.